The glass in the conference room caught the morning glare, painting the table in streaks of light. I set my folder down, unclipped the cover, and glanced once at Vanessa and she smiled. Slight, non-committal. I mistook it for support. Daniel, I began, keeping my voice even, as requested. This is a full-scale restructuring strategy tailored for B and G's expansion phase. 3 tiers: product, personnel, and process. Daniel leaned back. Let's see it. I turned the first page. First, we tackle bottlenecks in mid-level approvals, compressing time to execution without compromising compliance. I've modeled it off fintech turnaround strategies from 21. The core benefit: cutting delivery windows by 18%. Vanessa nodded slowly. Yes, I thought the regulatory hook was especially sharp. I paused. My pen froze mid-gesture. You thought? Her gaze didn't shift. We discussed a version of this approach during the prep phase. I added some polish. I looked at Daniel. Neutral. Listening. I flipped to the next slide. This second tier is modular workforce realignment. Based on internal surveys, 42% of team leads report role drift. This model realigns accountability by role band. Vanessa leaned forward, and I streamlined the visuals, so execs could digest it in under 3 minutes. I believe you'll find the red line version more executive-friendly. I blinked once, carefully. I wasn't aware you'd submitted a version. I sent it to Daniel Friday. You were in back-to-back calls, I believe. I turned to him. Daniel. He shifted. I did receive something Friday. Vanessa's printout was already prepped for Monday's agenda packet. My breath was a steady line. I looked back at Vanessa. Which version did you send? The one with the strategic audit front-loaded. Your draft had it on page 6. Because that's where it belonged. Of course, I said. I adjusted the folder, flattening the pages. Daniel cleared his throat. Let's finish the walkthrough. I'd like to understand the client impact projections. I kept my eyes on the deck. Projected increase in retention, 11%. Based on actuals from Easton Tech, who ran a similar restructure last fiscal. We spoke with their CFO last month. Vanessa smiled. And that's when I thought, if we anchor this in hard outcomes, we can sell it as not just innovation but replication. Proven, not theoretical. I didn't respond. Not in the room. Daniel nodded. It's strong. Smart sequencing. Vanessa, the polish is noted. And his eyes flicked to me. Credit for the foundation goes to you. Clearly. It should have helped. It didn't. As the others murmured approval and turned pages, Vanessa tapped her pen once on the table and said, we should run point. Together. I looked at her. We? Why not? You built it. I presented it. Clients love cohesion. I smiled, flat. Noted. She held my gaze a second too long, then turned her head like it hadn't mattered after the room emptied. I lingered under the guise of gathering my notes. Vanessa leaned against the glass. That went well. I didn't answer. She tilted her head. You're upset. No, I said. I'm tracking. Her brows lifted. Tracking what? Inputs. Outputs. Variables. She laughed. Come on. You know how it works. If I hadn't packaged it for Daniel, it wouldn't have landed. You mean, if I hadn't built it, you wouldn't have had anything to package. She straightened. I'm not the enemy here. You're not my teammate either. Look, she stepped closer. I saw an opportunity. You were buried in 6 projects. I moved. That's not betrayal. That's leverage. Leverage. I repeated and she smiled. Don't get righteous on me now. I met her eyes. Not righteous. Just clear. She scoffed and picked up her tablet. Well, clarity's a good start. Let me know if you want in on the client rollout. I didn't answer. She left. Outside the room, the hallway hummed distant. Printers, low murmurs. I stood still. The sting hadn't come. Not the way I expected. There was no heat in my cheeks, no trembling, just quiet, like a snapped wire deep in the walls. Silent, but structural. She hadn't won. She'd simply moved. First, that's different. I pulled my phone from my coat pocket and opened my notes. Typed one line. Check metadata on submitted deck versions, then another. Next time. Move first, stand louder. I slid the phone back and walked to my desk. Calm. Vanessa was right about one thing. Clarity was a start. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. The office was quiet at 7:48 a.m. I moved through the corridors like a surgeon deliberate, gloved in silence. Vanessa's laugh echoed faintly from somewhere near the espresso machine. I logged into my terminal. Inbox. Search bar. Deck_VH_final BPTX. Nothing. I typed again. Restructure reparable _draft. Results blinked up. One email stood out, time stamped 6:14 a.m. Today's before the pitch. From me to myself. Attached. My draft. Subject line blank. Then I saw it, another email, forwarded from my original. From Vanessa Hartley to partners at BG Holdings, subject. Preliminary strategy notes adequate. Strategic_VH BPTX. I opened it. She hadn't changed the bones. Just the skin colors, fonts, reordered slides. Same data, same phrasing. She had even lifted the client interview quote I'd transcribed word for word. The click of my mouse was surgical. No rage. Just the sound of something breaking quietly. Under anesthesia. I stood. Walked to the IT window. James Liu glanced up from behind to monitors. I need metadata on an email file, I said. Archived. But within 2 weeks. He raised a brow. Compliance request. Not yet. He looked at me a second longer, then pushed back from the desk. What file? Sent from Vanessa Hartley. Subject line preliminary strategy. Notes. Date. 2 days before the B and G pitch. He nodded. Give me 10. At 8:12, he called me back in. I mirrored her email logs from that morning. James said, she downloaded a PDF version of your deck at 5:58 a.m. sent it out 16 minutes later. Same IP. He turned the monitor. Her file name's different, but the data stamp's identical. I leaned in. Can you export this log? Yes. Want the raw file or visual report? Both. He hesitated. Should I flag this? No. Okay. I reached for the flash drive he offered. This stays between us. James looked at me. Got it. Vanessa cornered me in the kitchen. At noon, she held a coffee, to sugars, no lid. Heard you were in IT earlier, she said lightly. Getting archive logs. On what? Old pitch decks. She sipped. Anything interesting? Dates mostly. Who touched what? When? Her tone didn't shift. You think I stole it. I know you sent it. I sent a draft, based on shared frameworks. I met her eyes. You downloaded my file, changed the footer, and forwarded it to the partners before I presented it. Her gaze didn't flinch. I streamlined it. You overcomplicate things. We both know that. You mean I don't bury strategy in pastel? She smiled tight. Look, we can circle this drain forever or be adults. I'm being an adult. You're playing a child's version of power. Her voice dropped. You want to escalate this? No. I want you to know I see you. That's all. She stepped closer. I don't care if you see me. You should. She stared at me, then exhaled. You're not built for this game. I built the game. You built a structure. I sold the outcome. You sold a lie. No one cares. I do. Her lips parted like she'd say more. Then she stopped, smiled again, walked out. I returned to my desk and plugged in the drive. Opened the log report. Vanessa's version was time-stamped 6:14 a.m. Mine. 5:52 a.m. 13 slides. 5 mirrored word for word. 3 race-skinned. 2 rearranged. 1 deleted. The quote on slide 9, when speed trumps hierarchy, we outperform ourselves, had been lifted directly from my call with Hallworth's coup. She hadn't even chained the punctuation. I stared at the screen, and the silence stretched, not anger, not grief, just the confirmation of something finished, something undone, a line drawn clean, irreversible. I let my voice disappear in Monday's status call. I spoke only once to confirm a deliverable. Vanessa filled the rest, glossy and fluid. Daniel nodded, Mira typed, and I sat back. Let them echo. By Wednesday, she was quoting our positioning to Hallworth Corp. Over Zoom. I watched her reflection in the black screen before my camera blinked green. Isa, anything to add? She asked, eyes sharp. No, I said. It's clear. The silence afterward was my own. Later that day, I found Mira in the glass nook near the staircase, elbows deep in spreadsheets. You built the margin sheet for Hallworth? I asked. She nodded without looking up. Quarterly and projected. You color-coded by deviation. Her lips quirked. Most people miss that. I didn't. She finally looked up. Do you enjoy what you do here? I asked. Mira hesitated. Depends who's asking. I'm not HR. Then, not always. Why not? She clicked her pen twice. Because effort and visibility don't always match. Because some people are spotlights and others are scaffolding. Which are you? Scaffolding. Until someone sees the frame. I nodded. Vanessa had you revise the Hallworth data. Yes. She asked me to pull your pricing logic and rephrase for clarity. She did that often? She does it weekly. And you? I do what I'm told. I leaned on the table's edge. Would you rather do what works? She tilted her head. Meaning, I need clean eyes. Detail-oriented. Quiet thinkers. I don't need anyone loud. What for? Strategy. Against. I smiled. Poor structure. Mira clicked save. I'm listening. In meetings, I watched patterns. Who spoke after Vanessa? Who laughed? Who stilled when I entered? Terrence, head of client services, mimicked her phrasing twice in the Thursday debrief. He used pipeline friction and relational velocity, both mine. Though she'd said them louder first, he didn't look at me once. I stayed silent. The silence grew teeth. Friday morning, Mira dropped a folder on my desk. No one asked. For this, she said inside. Client notes, missed follow-ups, timing gaps, slips in Vanessa's rollout sequencing. All soft misses enough to lose trust, not enough to trigger red flags. You logged these. I remembered them. I looked up. You don't forget much, do you? Only things that don't matter. This does. Then I won't. I closed the folder. Start building a summary. No commentary. Just facts. I already did. In the 3 p.m. planning session, Vanessa proposed a shift in the B and G touchpoints. If we rotate their check-ins through the mid-tier team, we buy ourselves bandwidth up top. I kept my voice low. That erodes continuity. They want responsiveness, not consistency. They want both. Daniel raised a brow. Vanessa's proposal gives us calendar control. It dilutes relationship equity, I said. Vanessa's tone sharpened. It's scalable. It's short-sighted. Daniel looked between us. We'll pilot it with Hallworth first. No, I said. They're stability sensitive. Try B and G. Vanessa blinked. That's not what B and G tolerates change. Hallworth doesn't. Daniel nodded. Fine. B and G. Mira glanced at me from her corner. After the meeting, Vanessa caught me in the hallway. You've been awfully selective with your words lately. Observations efficient. She leaned in. Are you planning something? I'm learning. What? Exactly. Which voices matter. And why? She smiled, thin. You'll lose ground staying quiet. No. I'm watching where the ground shifts. Her smile faded. Careful. I walked past her. I am. I didn't need to burn the building, just the wiring, and then reroute the current. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. I sent the request on a Thursday morning. The subject. Transition review. Client retention report CC. Terrence Gallo tone. Neutral. Routine. He replied 6 minutes. Later. See attached. Let me know if you need old cycles too. I did. Terrence's office smelled like reheated soup and toner. You looking at churn risks? He asked, scrolling through a thumb drive as I sat across from him. Alignment tracking. I said, if we lose anyone during Vanessa's rollout shift, I need to know why. He nodded. I flagged our 3 edge accounts already. The big ones aren't the problem. It's the quiet ones who leave. Exactly. I held out my hand. Can I pull full notes from the last 2 quarters? He handed me the drive. You're the only one who asks. That's why you keep answering. He grunted and went back to his emails. At my desk, I opened the folders. Every client entry came with notes. Renewal status, pain points, call transcripts, redacted initials. But the voices read loud. Client X. We never got a follow-up on the analytics suite. Promise Q1. Client Y. They sent over the wrong package twice. It looked automated. Client X again. We liked the strategist from kickoff, but haven't heard from her since January. That strategist was Vanessa. I checked the log. She'd set reminders to follow up, then marked them done. No record of contact. By noon, I had a list of 14 flagged complaints and 6 missed check-ins. I printed nothing, took notes by hand, kept the language clean. No adjectives at 17 p.m. I stopped by Terrence's desk. Do you mind if I run a summary audit on the Hallworth tier? He didn't even look up. You're cleared for it. And client contact logs. Full access. You're on the transition clearance. Thanks. Just don't CC me unless it's fire. Understood. In the audit, I saw the same pattern. Vanessa's early touch was warm, efficient. But 3 weeks in, her presence thinned. She didn't neglect. She ghosted with polish. One client had requested a pricing review. No reply. Another sent 3 emails over billing errors. Logged. Never resolved. I folded the list into a single clean table. Friday, I approached Terrence again. You've got time? I asked. 5 minutes. Clock's tight. I sat. I have a suggestion. He raised an eyebrow. Not a complaint. No. A coverage realignment. I'm listening. I slid the page across. These 6 accounts Vanessa holds point, but engagement's inconsistent. He scanned. Some of these were flagged. Yeah, they're retention sensitive. If we don't reinforce soon, we'll lose them quietly. He leaned back. And you want to move them where? To me. Quietly. For stability. That'll ruffle. Only if it's visible. He drummed his fingers. Why now? I'm already doing half the work. Might as well make it official. You've been behind these summaries. I nodded. No one asked, but someone needed to look. He studied me. You think she can't handle them? I think charm's a short game. And you? I play long. He smiled slightly. You always this direct. Only when it matters. He tapped the table once. Fine. I'll float the shift as an internal coverage realignment. Nothing. Public. Good. And if Vanessa asks, she won't. She doesn't look down the chain. He snorted. Cold. No. Focused. Back at my desk, I added 6 names to my ledger. Each one a quiet transfer of trust, each one a wire. Rerouted ******. We sat at a quiet bistro for blocks from the office. Mira kept her coat on. I didn't ask why. Thank you for coming, I said. I figured you don't do social lunches. I don't. She sipped her tea. Then why now? I set my napkin down. What do you want to build here? She looked at me for a full breath. Is that rhetorical? No. She traced the rim of her cup. Something accurate. Something that works. Not something visible. Not necessarily. Why? Because the things that last don't need to be loud. I nodded once. What's stopping you? Hierarchy. Noise. Politics. Names. She hesitated. Vanessa's fast. Polished. But she doesn't finish. I finish. I've noticed. But no one else does. I do. She folded her hands. Why are you asking me this? Because I need someone who values precision over polish. And what does that mean in practice? I slid a printed client chart across the table. This is Vanessa's current client tier. I want transition support, soft moves. No alerts. She studied it. You want me to act like they've already moved? Yes. And when she notices, she'll be too late. Her brow rose. You're not trying to embarrass her. No. Just replace her. No. I'm redirecting traffic. Quietly, Mira leaned back. What do you need from me? Contact trace logs, follow-up patterns. Missed actions. Nothing dramatic, just friction points. And what do I get? Credit. In writing. When it matters. She stared at me. You're not like her. I know. You don't flatter. You don't ask twice. I don't need to. She nodded slowly. I want to be part of something that works. Clean. Built on facts. Then we understand each other. One thing, she said. Say it. If I do this, I don't want spotlight. You won't get it. Good. I took my wallet out. She waved me off. I'll get the next one, she said. There won't be a next one, I replied. Right, she said, smiling faintly. Because this wasn't social. No, I said, standing. It was structural. Hallworth's logo blinked in the corner of my screen. Blue serif. Clean. Clinical. I opened a blank document. Top line. Summary of service irregularities. Account. Hallworth Corp. No header. No signature. Just bullet points. 3 days later, Elise. Tran called. Her voice was calm. Clipped. I'd like to speak with the lead strategist for our account. Vanessa Hartley handles your account. I said. She delegated to items that weren't completed. When can I speak to whoever actually has context? I paused. I'm available at noon. No cameras. Understood. At 12:01. I answered her call. This is Elise Tran. Isa, I replied. Thanks for your time. She didn't waste a second. Who sent this report? No name was attached. But you recognize the content. Yes. It's accurate. Yes. All of it. Every entry is sourced from internal logs. She exhaled once. Then why wasn't it escalated formally? Because formal structures protect the wrong people. That's a dangerous thing to say. It's a dangerous thing to ignore. Silence, as she said. We onboarded with you. Why were we passed off? Resource allocation, according to Vanessa. Did you agree with that? No. But you stayed silent. I was watching. Now I'm adjusting. Another pause. This isn't standard practice. No. Good. Standard practice. Hasn't worked. That afternoon, Vanessa burst into the project room with a grin frozen in place. Did you hear? She asked, glancing around. Hear what? I asked. Hallworth requested a new contact structure. Elise wants more operational oversight. Interesting. She CC'd Daniel and asked for a documentation first protocol. That's not how they've ever worked. She didn't say why? Vanessa's smile thinned. No. Mira looked up from her laptop. That's unusual. Vanessa ignored her. Isa, you've had more contact with their back-end team, right? Yes. You think something's off. I think something's shifting. She stared at me. You look pleased. I'm observant. Don't be cryptic. I'm not. I'm careful. At 4:40 p.m., Daniel walked past my desk. Elise is demanding a report on missed deliverables from Q1. Can you verify Vanessa's logs? I've already compiled them. He blinked. You have? Yes. He lowered his voice. You send something? I don't send things without names. But she's under review now. I'm aware. And you're clean. I keep records. Daniel hesitated. Do I want to know how far back those records go? I met his eyes. You want to know you're covered. He gave a tight nod. Send me your version. Quietly. Already did. He looked at me for a long moment. Understood. At 6:11 p.m., Vanessa stood by the window, arms crossed, staring out at the city. She didn't turn when I passed. I didn't stop. I didn't need to. The lever had shifted, and the structure was already tilting. The moment the email hit Vanessa's screen, her posture changed. She smiled to fast, to wide. Looks like Hallworth needs a quick sync. Then she stood, smoothing her blazer. Taking this in private. She walked out. Phone already to her ear. Terrence looked up from his monitor. What was that? Hallworth, I said. His eyes drifted to her desk. Her screen was still on. She didn't lock it. He muttered and I didn't respond. He pushed his chair back, slowly. That's not like her. She's adapting. To what? I turned toward him. The new structure. He looked at me, wary. Are you behind that shift? I responded to misalignment. Misalignment? Follow-ups missed. Promises logged but not delivered. You've seen the reports. He leaned back. I thought they were internal audits. They were. And now Hallworth's raising flags. They connect well. He rubbed his jaw. This kind of scrutiny Vanessa won't take it lightly. She'll take it personally. Terrence eyed me. You didn't escalate this, did you? I kept records. Quietly. You know she'll spin it. She can try. He studied me. You've been quiet for weeks. I've been precise. He nodded slowly. People are noticing. Good. Daniel, too. I know. He leaned forward. You want the lead. I want the structure fixed. Same thing right now. I didn't answer. Vanessa returned 20 minutes later. No eye contact. Her jaw tight. She sat, typed something fast, then slammed her drawer closed louder than necessary. Terrence watched her, then looked at me. I said nothing. The silence held. That afternoon, in the kitchenette, Mira handed me a folder. They've reassigned Hallworth follow-ups to you. Quietly, it hit the internal dashboard at 3:04. I opened it. Client notes, call logs, scheduling access all mine now. They didn't notify Vanessa. I asked. Nope. Terrence. He saw it. Didn't comment. Daniel. He sent it. I closed the folder. Good. Mira glanced at the hallway. She knows something's shifting. She just doesn't know where the weight went. Back at my desk, I answered to Hallworth emails, scheduled 3 check-ins, and flagged a billing discrepancy from April. Vanessa didn't look up once, but I saw her cursor hovering. I saw the way her fingers stalled on the keys, and I saw Terrence watching her, then watching me. The hierarchy had changed, and no one had announced it. They didn't have to. Elisa's email was concise. Going forward, I'd prefer Isa as primary contact. No need to loop in Vanessa unless strategic input is required. No greeting. No explanation. I replied in under 4 minutes. Understood. I'll coordinate with your operations team and keep cadence tight. Let me know if preferences shift. That was it. No noise. No announcement. Just motion. By Tuesday, 2 more clients routed their follow-ups directly to me. Not through scheduling. Not through Vanessa. Mira paused by my desk. That's the 3rd unprompted handoff this week. They're pattern readers, not protesters. Exactly. She lowered her voice. Vanessa saw the threads. She's circling. That afternoon, Vanessa approached my desk with a too bright tone. I saw your name on the Torsen call next week. I'm hosting it. She tilted her head. I didn't see a delegation. There wasn't one. They're my client. Not anymore. Her smile froze. Was there a meeting I missed? No. Just feedback loops. They redirected. Without telling me. They did tell you. You didn't hear it. She stepped closer. This feels personal. It's structural. They're being poached. They're being heard. Her jaw flexed. You've been circling for weeks. I've been consistent. You've been reactive. You don't get to rewrite history. I'm not. I'm responding to the present. She looked at me like she didn't understand the language. Then she walked off. At 11:04 a.m. the next day, Elise called. I'm forwarding a thread from Torsen, she said. They want to align deliverables under your tracking format. Understood. They cited accuracy, timeliness, low noise. I'll streamline the reports. No fluff. You won't get any. She paused. That's why I redirected. Thank you, Elise, she said. Call me Elise from now on. By week's end, 6 client strings bypassed Vanessa. Nothing public. No memos, just names rerouted. Weight shifting. And silence doing what sound never could. At 9:32 a.m. I got the ping. Subject. Internal data sync. Audit request attached. File comparison. Flag duplication. No greeting. Just rows my file. Vanessa's file. Same graphs. Same phrasing. Same client quote. The audit team requested timestamps. I sent them 5 minutes later. Folder paths. Edit histories. File metadata no. Message no defense. Just data. By noon, Daniel called me into the conference room. His tone was neutral. Audit team seated across from him. Can you confirm this deck originated from you? The woman asked. Yes. You submitted it on March 2nd at 8:41 a.m. Yes. And the file labeled final_strategy_VH was submitted March 4th. Yes. She didn't look up. No further questions. Daniel cleared his throat. Thanks, Isa. You're clear. I nodded and left. I was washing my hands when she came in. The door slammed. Her heels echoed. I didn't turn. You submitted those timestamps, Vanessa said. Yes. That's all. That's all they asked for. She stepped closer. You've been waiting for this. No. You think this makes you look clean? It makes me look accurate. Her voice rose. You could have come to me. I did. The day you took my deck and smiled like it was yours. I refined it. You rebranded it. She laughed once sharp, brittle. You're not even angry. I was. Now I'm done. Her voice cracked. You don't get to ruin me. I didn't. You did that when you stopped doing the work. I worked. You decorated. She stared at me, eyes glassy. I made things land, and I made them real. You think people don't play politics here? Wake up. I did, and I played better. Silence. Then, I built my name. Here. You borrowed mine to do it. She looked like she might say more. Then her lips trembled, and she didn't. I dried my hands. You wanted attention, I said. Now you have it. I opened the door to leave. She didn't follow. Early, Mira walked in behind me and took the chair to my left. Vanessa entered at exactly 10, alone. Hair pulled tight, mouth tighter. Pauline Reyes from HR looked up from her tablet. Thank you both for coming. Vanessa sat across from me. With conference room was glass-walled, air still, blinds tilted half shut. I arrived 2 minutes without a word. Pauline began. This is a performance alignment review. It's not disciplinary. It's exploratory. Understood, I said. Vanessa folded her hands. Sure. Pauline tapped her stylus. We're here because of overlapping ownership claims regarding strategic work submitted to senior leadership. We've reviewed the audit logs. Vanessa leaned forward. If this is about deck formatting, it's about content origin. Pauline cut in. Still calm, Vanessa laughed lightly. Strategy is collaborative. We build on each other's work. Pauline turned to me. Isa, did you submit the March 2nd draft? I did. I also archived it under project records and flagged it for peer review. You have the archive confirmation. I slid the printed log forward. Dated. Tagged. No revisions post-submission. Pauline scanned it. Noted. Vanessa looked at me. You really came with paper. I came with proof. You could have spoken to me. I did. In February. You called it leverage. Pauline looked between us. Vanessa, are you contesting file ownership? Vanessa hesitated. I reformatted the slides, reordered points, but the ideas weren't stolen. I said nothing. Pauline tilted her head. Can you provide any dated contributions or messages that show concept development from your end? Vanessa blinked. I didn't know I'd need to. You were aware of the audit findings, Pauline said. I thought this was a misunderstanding. Mira slid a single-page document across the table. Summary log of contributions by week. Vanessa's edits start March 4th. All prior frameworks, client references, and segmentation models originated with Isa. Pauline read it silently. Vanessa's voice sharpened. You brought her as backup. I brought a witness, I said. She's not neutral. She's accurate. Pauline looked at Mira. Were you instructed to keep record? No. I did it for internal clarity. I noticed attribution issues. Pauline nodded. Helpful. Vanessa's voice dropped. This is a setup. No, I said. It's a pattern. You just finally got caught. I added value. You added noise. Vanessa turned to Pauline. She's making this personal. I haven't raised my voice, I said. You didn't need to. You orchestrated all of this. No, I documented it. Pauline cleared her throat. Vanessa, we'll be pausing your account access pending full review. Vanessa froze. What? You'll retain internal tools, but external contact will route through Isa's team. That's not fair. It's procedural. She looked at me, eyes wide. You planned this. I prepared. Pauline stood. We're done here for now. Mira rose with me. Vanessa didn't move. Her story didn't collapse, it folded, neatly, under the weight of itself. Asterisk are guessing what happened, she said. They can. Most are siding with you. I don't need sides. I know. She hesitated. Does it feel done? It feels quiet. She nodded. That's something. By Thursday, I was copied on everything. The email came through at 8:03 a.m. Vanessa Hartley will be on indefinite leave, effective immediately. Please route all questions to interim contacts as noted. No explanation. No signature, just silence. By 10, Hallworth confirmed me as their primary contact. Elise sent it herself. Appreciate the consistency. Let's keep the cadence tight, as you've. DONEI replied with a 3-line confirmation. No adjectives in the bullpen. I passed to analysts whispering. They straightened when I walked by at the kitchenette. Terrence handed me a folder without looking up. Hallworth compliance items. They asked for your review. Not Vanessa's replacement. He gave the faintest smile. They were specific. At lunch, Mira sat across from me with a tray she hadn't touched. Pleave in the threads that used to bypass me. One of the interns asked if I'd review their model draft. Another brought over a client note and asked, Does this look clear? I read it. Gave one edit. Cut the middle line. It over-explains. He nodded. Thanks. At 6:12 p.m., I stood alone in the empty office. The glass reflected back a clean line of desks, and mine centered, steady. Vanessa's nameplate was gone. Nobody said it aloud. Nobody needed to. Power was never the point. Visibility wasn't the prize. This clarity, autonomy, silence that answered. Only to direction, this was all I ever asked for. And now, no one stood in the way. You should be the one to speak, Mira said. I looked up from my notes. Why? You built this. So did others. No one like you. The summit ballroom was all glass and marble, chairs lined in perfect rows. The mic hummed when I tapped it. A small click as the lights shifted. Mira stood off to the side. Hands clasped. I stepped up. Good morning, I said, voice steady. Thank you for being here. 3 rows of clients looked back at me. Hallworth, B&G, Torson. Familiar names. Now mine to carry. I'm Isabel Renner. I'm the strategic lead for enterprise growth. The sound of my name filled the space. Whole? Undiluted. I paused. Then continued. You've seen decks. You've seen charts. Today, I want you to see the people behind them. Murmurs stilled. Eyes on me. We've shifted. Quietly. Intentionally. Because you asked for clarity, not noise. Precision, not posturing. Someone from Hallworth nodded. Elise, seated second from the left. We've aligned not just structure, but purpose. Our strategy isn't about being louder, it's about being right. Applause started brief, polite, then steady. I stepped back and Mira met me near the edge of the stage. You said it clean, she whispered. I meant to. She smiled. They know your name now. They know my work. And the difference. I looked out across the room. There isn't one anymore.